I thought I'd do a walkthrough of what my predominantly final display is. So this is obviously my Nextion display that's driven by an Arduino Mega that's down inside the console. This is just a temperature sensor so that I can get the temperature of the cabin. And this is just a USB port for my stereo, which I'll probably never use, but it's there. And then I have a push button start. If you turn on the brake and start the car, it starts off at this screen, and then it goes to an information screen. It's a little hard to get kind of all the colors sometimes with a camera, but essentially you've got your fuel gauge, your miles per hour, you've got your power and regen, and the power is a green bar. I'm sorry, the power is a red bar, the regen is a green bar. It tells you what direction you're in, so if I go into reverse, it's going to change to reverse. It's a little slow to respond, but it does all work. And then it tells you whether you're in high gear or low gear. Obviously, you've got your interior temperature and humidity. Weather eye is what Rambler like to call their HVAC system. Not sure why that's not focusing. But so I wanted to keep some original content as much as possible. And then this is just an on-off for the climate. And then this will tell you whether it's off, which it is now, or whether it's going to cool or whether it's going to heat. And that's all driven by the Arduino Mega as well. One of the more interesting things is this little Rambler logo here starts off red, but as soon as the VCU reads that the car is ready to drive, it turns green. And it also lights up this little Rambler green thing right here. Not sure why that doesn't want to focus on my instrument cluster this morning. Anyway, so I can control the temperature. So that middle one, that 74, 75 right there, that's controlled by this lever over here. And it's just me setting a temperature, telling the car how warm or how cool I want it on the inside. So my original Rambler instrument cluster, I really wish this would focus. I kept all of these. So this is a fan speed. You can hear the fan going. And obviously temperature is just that. If I move this up or down, it actually drives a cable, which is attached to a slide potentiometer, which then tells the Arduino what temperature I want it to set at. And then this one over here, these are my wipers. And then this just controls if I turn the fan back on. Why this does not want to focus. Whether I am on dash, so that would be these down here, all the air coming out here, or if I put it kind of in the middle, it's on defrost and all the air is coming from up here. And then obviously if I put it all the way down, then the air comes from the floor. I probably won't use floor much because I wasn't really planning for that when I installed this, and I don't really have much room for air to flow. You can feel it down there, but it's not the best. So it's mostly on dash. Obviously this is a Restomod air system, so it's totally modern system. It's pretty powerful, and it's driven by the Arduino, really. So the fan control is just a 0 to 5 potentiometer that's driven by that knob that I was turning, and then the directions here and the temperature for this display are all driven by slide potentiometers. Now, if I push this little centerpiece, I go to the next screen, and again, you saw how that was red originally, and then it realizes that it's ready to drive, so it turns green. So here I can get voltage, I can get amps. This is the temperature of the inverter, and this is the RPMs, which obviously right now I'm not moving. Same thing with power. This will tell me how many kilowatts I'm putting out. If I touch this one again, then I go into various settings. So like valet mode, if I push that, it will basically decrease the commanded torque by half. Ambient lights allows me to turn on the ambient lights or turn off in my car. I have it set to on, so I have to turn them off. Reserve is I have essentially a voltage in the VCU that says, hey, if you're down to here, then you're done. And if I hit reserve, it will drop that by 2 or 3 volts. I can't remember what I set it at. Creep does work. I don't use it because I need to fine tune it, but it basically allows the car to creep forward like a normal car rather than just sitting at rest if you don't push the accelerator. one pedal's there, but I don't have any code yet for the one pedal. Then regen, I can turn regen on or off just by pushing the button. And then these just take me back to the different screens. So this will take me back to the info screen, this will take me back to the energy screen, and then this one will take me to a graphic display of what's going on. So here I have the same kind of fuel gauge, and it gives me an actual percentage. And then I can't really make it do it right now when I'm sitting still, but I have arrows that, you know, go back, and kind of arrows going back to the back wheels in red whenever I am expending energy, and then arrows that go from the back wheels to the transmission when I'm regenning. And then if I just push that again, I go back to my main screen. So that's essentially the display that I have here. There's still a couple more things I could add to it if I wanted. I wanted to add, I can send canned messages from my BMS and get all kinds of information about cells and all that. So I have that canned message, I have all of that loaded into the Arduino code. I just don't have it programmed into a screen to display it all here. But that's, you know, that's just a programming thing I can do later. So I hope you enjoyed the display demonstration, and I apologize that I can't get it to focus for whatever reason on my instrument cluster, but I have, you know, I have my ready light here. This is actually a plug icon, so whenever I'm plugged in, that lights up. And then my odometer is driven by a speedometer, and odometer is driven by a signal converter. So it takes the VSS digital signal off of the transmission and drives an electric motor, which turns an actual speedometer cable to turn that. And then I showed you already my push button start. That's where the original key went in. Otherwise, the rest of this is pretty standard. My temperature gauge is actually a normal temperature sensor that is in line with the battery coolant, but I never get hot enough for that really to move. And then you can see also my fuel gauge here. It is driven off of the Arduino Mega as well, and it gives you a visual representation of how much charge I have. All right, thanks a lot.